The author has said that in baptism, the Christians at Colossae shared in Christ's death, suffering, and resurrection. Now he tells them the ethical implications of being a member of the baptized community. So if you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things that are above, not on things on earth. For you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, is revealed, then you also will be revealed with him in glory. Put to death, therefore, whatever in you is earthly: fornication, impurity, passion, evil desire, and greed, all of which are idolatry. On account of these, the wrath of God is coming on those who are disobedient. These are the ways you also once followed when you were living that life. But now you must get rid of all such things: anger, wrath, malice, slander, abusive language, all from your mouth. Do not lie to one another, seeing that you have stripped off the old self with its practices, and have clothed yourselves with the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge according to the image of its creator. In that renewal there is no longer Greek and Jew, circumcised and uncircumcised, barbarian, Scythian, slave and free, but Christ is all and in all.
A large crowd has gathered around Jesus. Now he instructs both of them and his disciples on the importance of proper relationship with God. No one should selfishly amass wealth to the exclusion of spiritually. 3. Luke, someone in the crowd, said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the family inheritance with me." But he said to him, "Friend, who set me to be a judge or operator over you?" And he said to them, "Take care, be on your guard against all kinds of greed, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of possessions." Then he told them a parable. The land of a rich man produced abundantly, and he thought to himself, "What should I do? For I have no place to store my crops." Then he said, "I will do this. I will pull down my barns and build larger ones, and there I will store all my grains and my goods. And I will say to my soul, 'Soul, you have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, be merry.' But God said to him, 'You fool, this very night your life is being demanded of you. And the things you have prepared, whose will they be? So it is with those you store up treasures for themselves, but you are not rich toward God.'"
Someone asked about singing songs what language you sing in. You sing in whatever language you want. That's certainly appropriate. In fact, if we sing in enough languages, it'll sound like the day of Pentecost. Kathy and I used to take drives in Kentucky, but we take it in other states too. In Kentucky, we spent a lot of time there, and we like to look at the covered bridges and the barns that scattered across the countryside. Full of barns, all kinds of barns. The covered bridges, though, they were fewer in number as the years go by, but the barns were still being built, and the old ones were often left instead of tearing them down. There are all kinds of barns: big barns, small barns, stone, log, plank, round, square, even bank barns. A barn was and is a place where farm tangibles like animals, like feed and machinery, are stored. I recall seeing a large barn several weeks ago. In fact, you see it on the front of the bulletin. Now, this barn has been restored, but I thought it was important to see it as it had been, because it reminds us of the scripture. Big barns usually mean big production. Big production usually means big money. If we saw someone building more and more barns, well, we would assume that someone was making more and more money. The barns Jesus was talking about were barns that were full because the yield was great. Now, this farmer did not get this large produce by cheating or stealing. The issue is not about hurting others or neglect like the Good Samaritan. Rather, the story is like Joseph. He's one who stored for 7 years of famine. And he was storing not just for wealth at all, but for his family. The issue here really is more about greed. It is about the fact that when all things are added at the end, what we have accumulated on earth means nothing. What is really important? Well, it would seem that wealth is a factor. Someone asked John D. Rockefeller one time, how much wealth does it take to satisfy a person? And he replied, just a little bit more. The Romans had a proverb, money is like seawater. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. Now, this was the problem with the sons. They wanted more. There's a very interesting story by Florence Ferrier about a social worker in poverty-stricken Appalachia. It's called We Ain't Poor. The Sheldon family, they were a large family in severe financial distress after a series of misfortunes. And the help they received was not adequate, yet they managed their meager income and with some ingenuity and without complaint. Well, one fall day, this social worker visited the Sheldons in their ramshackle rented house that they lived in the edge of the woods. And despite a painful physical handicap, Mr. Shelton had shot and butchered a bear which strayed into their yard once too often, and the meat had been processed into all the big canning jars that they could find or that they could swap for. For them, there would be meat in their diet even during the worst of the winter, when their fuel costs would be extremely high. Well, Mr. Shelton offered the social worker a jar of bear meat, and he hesitated to accept it. But the giver met with unspoken resistance firmly. He said, now you just have to take this. We want you to have it. We don't have much, that's a fact. But we ain't poor. The social worker couldn't resist asking, what's the difference? And his answer was unforgettable. He said, when you give something away, even when you don't have much, then you ain't poor. When you don't feel easy giving something away, even if you got more than you need, then you're poor, whether you know it or not. Perhaps the brothers didn't understand about poverty, not real poverty. They actually suffered from poverty because they were arm wrestling each other for more. Now, Scripture doesn't tell us if they were wealthy or if they were not. They could have been in dispute over a large estate or not much at all. I've seen families break over $600 from a large estate, by the way. $600 they would not speak to another. For all we know, it could have been a family dispute over a few items that would be left by the father that did not amount to much at all, not on the open market. Maybe they had a sentimental value. Whatever it was enough to cause a rift in the family. And Jesus was now drawn into the conflict. He tells the one brother that things do not really matter. The fact is, standpoint of material wealth, we Americans have difficulty realizing how rich we are. I want to suggest a little mental exercise to help us count our blessings. I want you to imagine doing the following and see how over 1 billion people in the world live their daily life. First of all, I want you to take out all the furniture in your home, all except one table and a couple of chairs. And then use blanket and pads for beds. Then take away all of your clothing except for your oldest dress or suit, shirt or blouse, and leave only one pair of shoes. And then I want you to empty the pantry and the refrigerator except for a small bag of flour, some sugar and some salt, a few potatoes, some onions, and a dish of dried beans. And then dismantle the bathroom. Shut off the running water. Remove all the electrical wiring in your house. In fact, take away the house itself. And move the family into the tool shed. And place your house in a shanty town. Cancel all subscriptions to newspapers, magazines, and book clubs. That would include everything that you subscribe to on your phone, because you won't have a phone anyway. And there's no great loss because, well, none of you can really read. Leave only one radio for the whole shanty town. And move the nearest hospital or clinic 10 miles away and put a midwife in charge instead of a doctor. Throw away all your banks, books, your stock certificates, pension plans, insurance policies. But leave the family a cash hoard of $10. Give the head of the family a few acres to cultivate on which he can raise a few $100s of cash crops, of which 1/3 will go to the landlord and 1/10 to the landowners. Then take off 25 or more years.
Ever since he started. But then just all of a sudden.
I know you understand what I'm saying. Being poor in America is not easy either. There's great disparity in the ability to have health care or to have to go into debt or simply neglect one's health. However, by the standards of the world, we have a great deal, far more than our share. The question seems to be, how much is enough and for what? Storing up our wealth ultimately brings us nothing. It is not what we have when we die. It is what we have done with what we have that will count. There's so many ways we can make life better for others, but it always involves sharing, giving of ourselves. Paul tells us to set our minds on things above, not on things below, things here. There's nothing wrong with big barns unless we steal for it or we lie for it or allow it to come in between our relationships. There's some beautiful imagery in Colossians. Paul says that having been raised with Christ, you have clothed yourselves with a new self. Now, whether we are discussing the atrocities of any war or maybe the bombing of Hiroshima or Nagasaki, or who buys what automobile, we must see from God's eye and not ours. We must rise above our own self-interest to be in relationship with God's people. See, we have a choice. We can change clothes. We can take off our little perspectives, the way we naturally see things, and then put on the clothes of a new perspective, the view of life from Christ's vantage point. We know it's not easy to do unless we do it. The more we live Christ's One last thing. You notice the story in Luke begins with Jesus being asked to help settle a dispute about inheritance. The brother wants it divided. But in Christ, we all can have the inheritance. It is ours. It is freely given if we only accept it. To God we serve, thanks be to God. Amen. This day, as any Sunday, any time, we issue an invitation for any who this day would choose to confess Jesus as Lord, or anyone who would choose to transfer membership from one congregation to this congregation. But it's also a time for each of us to consider very seriously the scripture we've heard and how that will apply to our living this week. Let us stand and sing hymn number 340, 340.